Today I'm making pierogi, a Pittsburgh tradition. Welcome to White Shadow Fare. Make it homemade and make it with love. What are pierogis? They're Eastern European traditional foods. Here in Pittsburgh, we have a huge Polish population that came to work the steel mills during the Industrial Revolution. Similar to a dumpling, they are made of a dough that is rolled out thin, filled with a stuffing that could either be sweet or savory in nature, and then boiled and pan-fried. These are served here in Pittsburgh at weddings and for special holidays. To a mixer or a large bowl, add 6 cups of all-purpose flour and 2 cups of cold water. 2 eggs, 1/3 cup oil, 2 teaspoons of salt, mix slowly at first so you don't get flour everywhere. Now that the dough is clearing the sides of the bowl, go ahead and let it mix for exactly 2 minutes. Turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface, and you're going to hand knead, adding just a little bit of flour for 1 to 2 minutes so that it's no longer sticking to the surface or your fingers. Pierogis are time-consuming to make, but they are easy to do, and they will be well worth it, tasting so much better than anything you could buy in the frozen food section. Once your dough is no longer sticky, go ahead and put it in a covered container and let it sit for 45 minutes to 1 hour. While your dough is resting, go ahead and peel and dice 4 pounds of potatoes. I prefer russet potatoes, and put the potatoes in cool water. Drain the potatoes and put them in a large pot of fresh water. If it comes to a boil, let them boil for 15 minutes. While your potatoes are boiling, dice 1 onion and cook it over medium-low heat with a bit of oil and a tablespoon of butter. You're cooking your onions for 5 to 10 minutes. The goal is to soften the onions, not to brown them. Once the potatoes are fork tender, go ahead and drain them off, put them back into your pot, add 3 tablespoons of butter, add the onions, add 16 ounces of cheddar cheese. Add salt and pepper to taste. Lots of people like to roll out the dough to about 1/8 inch thick and cut equal-sized 3-inch diameter circles, but I like to do a more rustic approach here. So I'm just getting a little bit of flour on my hands, and I'm making sure that each dough ball is about equal in size, somewhere between 22 and 24 grams. After a few of measuring ones, then you get to know what size they need to be. This will make between 4 and 5 dozen pierogies, which you will be freezing so that you have them for future use. Just a little bit of flour on your fingers, and you're going to kind of pat them into circles. Use a rolling pin to roll them out. The dough is very stretchy. You will scoop a heaping tablespoon right there in the center, and you will pull the dough over and seal it shut and use a fork just to make sure that it's completely sealed. If you don't have them completely sealed, the filling can come out when you are boiling them to cook them later on. So as I do each one of these, I am then putting them on a baking tray, and I will stick that in the freezer so that they freeze solid and they don't stick to each other. The fork is really not for decoration, it's just to make sure that it is completely sealed. If for some reason you find that they are not sealing, you can add just a little bit of water along the edge there before you close it up. And here's what they look like ready to go into the freezer. And now I'm going to make some of these. So first I start off by caramelizing an onion or two, and that'll take about 20 to 30 minutes. Towards the end of my onions caramelizing, I get a large pot of salted water and I bring it to a boil. And now that it's boiling, I add the pierogies, whether they are fresh or frozen, they go straight into the salted boiling water. And once they begin to float, you know that they're done. Then I just scoop them out, drain them off, and I add them to a pan with some butter. I like them a little bit fried on the sides. Topped with the caramelized onion. If you've never had these before, they are definitely worth giving a try. And if you've only ever bought the frozen kind, these are so much better. So we serve 2 to 3 of these as a side dish, and sometimes we eat them as just our main dish. After you taste homemade pierogies, you'll understand why the Eastern Europeans made these for special occasions. Traditional foods that are still made today let you know how special they are. So I'm taking the frozen pierogies and I'm placing them in a bag or a container so that they can be frozen and they can be kept for up to 3 months in the freezer. So even though they're time consuming, this makes quite a bit. They are absolutely delicious, homey. I hope you will give them a try. We got our puppy right after moving to Pittsburgh, so we also named her Pierogi. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe, and thank you for joining me here at White Shadow Fare.